she is.
So you make sure to pass the microphones.
Yes.
Make sure that Karen gets the microphone when it's her turn
Of
to
course.
talk.
Of course. And Julep gets the
And then Julep, I'm sorry, there's no camera. I know you're really upset because you were trying. Oh, good. Good. Good.
Like crazy, nervous. I put the mic on though. Yes. It might not need you. Hi, Miss Gilman.
Oh, and he has mix too. Is
Where is she?
PK.
There she is.
We're gonna wait until 12:30. It's on the live stream too. It's all recorded on the live stream.
My mom wrote, and my mom wrote,
I'll take care of introducing you all.
I can't tell. Can you do it now? Much trade.
Is yours working, Matt?
I have no idea.
It's working fine. Also working fine.
Yay. Good.
Let me take that microphone to start with.
Okay.
Gemar Tov, Shana Tova, Shabbat Shalom, Good Yantiv, Good Shabbos, Happy New Year. It's wonderful to see everyone here. We're very excited that our own temple inclusion and empowerment committee is going to share a little bit about their experiences and their lives thriving with living with disabilities. And I'm going to turn it over to Gwen Leifer, who's going to moderate and introduce our panel.
Hi, good morning, good Yom Tov. So we're here today, obviously, to talk about living and thriving with disability. And it's the start of a new year. We really would like to start off our new year with building connection and community. It's part of what we do as a Jewish community, right? Our community is diverse in many ways, including members of our community who face extra challenges. And we hope that our panel today will help introduce some of our members and encourage connections among all of us and make us feel comfortable talking to each other. It's okay to ask questions and help people understand best how to include one another and connect with one another. Our panel today consists of Arlene Green, Jody Ann Herman, Matt, I always forget if it's Kamen or Kamen, don't kill me. Matt Kamen, Karen Eisenstadt, and Julep is an honorary additional panelist, and Amy Kaufman. The way that we're hoping to do this today is we're going to start off with a panel discussion where there'll be a couple of questions addressed by each of the panelists, and hopefully we'll have some time for just free questions from you guys before we wrap up so you have a chance to ask anything else that's on your mind. Okay, so with that, why don't we get started? So the first question for each panelist, and we'll be starting with Arlene. You just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself for a moment.
Okay. My name is Arlene Green. I might have sold you a tallit or a piece of jewelry when I was helping out at the temple gift shop. Or you might.
Talking to the microphone.
Do you want to repeat it? Yes. All right, stop at the beginning. My name is Arlene Green. Can you hear me now? Yeah. Yeah, okay. I might have sold you a tallit or a piece of jewelry when I was helping out at the temple gift shop, but you may mostly know me as treasurer of the Women's Connection for 5 years. You know, as treasurer, I wrote spreadsheets. Now I can't even read a spreadsheet. My life changed dramatically on June 18th, 2019, when I had a stroke during open heart surgery. So my life is divided between before stroke and after stroke.
Hi, my name is Jody Herman, and I was born with cerebral palsy, and I have been a temple member almost 30 years.
I'm Matt Kamen. I'm a lifelong member of the Reformed Temple of Forest Hills, and I work in arts management and marketing.
I'm Karen Eisenstadt. I have been blind all my life. I'm retired. I was a rehab counselor. I have a master's in rehab, and part of what has to happen is that I have to do things differently, and so Julep, my guide dog, helps me. This is Julep. She's a Labrador, a terrific one.
I'm Amy Kaufman.
Into the mic.
I think I'm trying to do that.
There you go.
I'm Amy Kaufman, and I was born with cerebral palsy. When I was born, there was a lot of confusion about what cerebral palsy was. So I've been through different parts of life, but I'm very happy being who I am. I live on my own. I work full-time. Very similarly to Karen, I have my master's and work as a counselor, or an employment counselor for the state of New York. Somebody take this back.
Or we could just go back the other way so you could do the next question first if you want.
Okay.
So how does your disability affect your daily life?
Well, obviously there are physical problems, but I think the biggest thing is that it's not clear to everybody, but I have trouble seeing, and it's hard for me to describe what I have trouble seeing, but one very clear example is that I have trouble with people's faces. So I'm always sort of adapting to my environment. That's okay for me, though. And life is very okay for me.
Okay, since I'm blind, I have to do anything that needs sight. I have to do it differently. So I use my hands a lot. I listen a lot. I listen to do things that maybe you wouldn't do. I listen to find out what's happening around me. Sense of smell, all my other senses. That's what I do.
Due to my cerebral palsy, I have limited use of my left arm, hand, and leg. I also have limited depth perception.
I have trouble hearing sometimes, and I often speak too quickly, and I don't always realize it. I also have difficulty with my balance and my depth perception.
The stroke wiped out my left peripheral vision. So if I'm looking for a public bathroom and the sign of the door says W-O-M-E-N, the W and O are invisible to me. If I'm in a restaurant and the waiter places the food here, and my friends are saying, how come you're not eating? And I say, because I didn't get my food. But it's right there next to you. I don't know. It's on the left. I didn't see it. I can't read long numbers because I don't know how many numbers on the left end of it are chopped off. So if I have to get a car service and I can't read the license plate number, when I go to the bank, I can't endorse a check. I have to ask the teller to do it for me because I can't read the numbers on my checkbook. See what else. Oh yeah, my right and left orientation is all screwed up, so it takes me longer than usual to get dressed, to get my arms into the right sleeve, or my shoes onto the right feet, that kind of thing.
To expand on the previous question, for each of you, how do you...
I haven't finished this one yet, my next.
The next
Yeah.
is for each of you to to explain how you cope with the challenges and limitations that you face because of your disability. I know you started to address that, but I don't know if you want to add some more.
Oh, well, that's the next page I have here. Okay, so I've had a lot of speech therapy, vision therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. These are my distance glasses, and there are striped decals on the left corner. And these decals take images that are out here on the left and move them to my center, my field of vision. I wear when I go out, I wear a reflective vest, and I have reflective tape on my cane, and I have reflective tape on my walker, which is a rollator. So, because if a motorist or a car or a pedestrian is approaching from the left, they're totally invisible to me. So I hope that they can see me. You know, I use the rollator. My legs are fine, but I use the rollator, which was ordered for me by a physical therapist, to be more visible to other people when they're approaching me from the left, and I can't see them.
I have an aide named Sherry will take me food shopping and to my doctor appointments. I learn best when I am shown something sometimes over and over until I get it. But I usually get it and have been shown and spoken to as well. It's not I don't want to get it at the moment, but it takes more of my brain to catch up with my learning.
So I'd say having a disability is part of being human, and learning to adapt in the world with my disability is a constant and an ongoing practice. So there is really no specific way that I cope with the challenges that my disability places in my life.
I try to use humor about whatever happens. I try to think out of the box. I need to find different ways to do things. For example, when I go to the supermarket, I need help to find things in the store. Sometimes I have people take me around and do that, or I just give them a list. Also, a challenge is now in this age of problems with breakage and stuff and breaking in, there are lots of touch screens to get into places. I can't see those and I can't use them. So I need help to get them. I hope somebody comes along who can do it for me, or sometimes I use the phone and I call the office and they let me in. I sometimes have to use patience. When I was looking for a job, my father was helping me go through the want ads. And there was a want ad, one specific one, that was there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And and they never responded to me. And I asked him to call up for me. And they told him, well, actually, we don't believe that she can do all the stuff that her materials say that she does. So I just had to give up on that one. I really needed patience for that. Then, when I was also looking for a job, I had applied to a lot of state organizations. In fact, the one where Amy works. And I hadn't heard, and a lot of us blind people that I knew did that. And a blind friend of mine went to his congressman because he was sure he was being passed over or something. And he got together a whole bunch of people. We went down to the office to find out what was happening with his job. And somebody came out and said, "Oh, we're really sorry. We must have lost your papers. It's beyond the time that you can, that you're still eligible for a job." However, the congressman had done his homework, and without telling me, I was the next person on the list the next blind person on the list who had passed that test. So all of a sudden, I was not part of the demonstration. I was on, and I went up to the office and I got a job. So sometimes you just have to use patience or be in the right place or be proactive, whatever it is. You just have to be calm and deal with things as they come.
I'm not sure that there's one answer, but I know that there's been a lot of creative problem solving. Like 5 years ago, when I had to begin living on my own again, my father helped me set up my apartment. But that took a lot of trial and error, because it was like, can you reach this? Can you do this? You know, we had to do a lot of, if someone saw me doing the trial and errors, they wouldn't always understand. But for me, it's a lot of trial and error and keeping an open mind. So
To each of you, how would you prefer that others interact with you or respond to you? Because I think sometimes people are hesitant to reach out and say hello or be social because they're just not sure what would be considered okay, what would be offensive. So that might be very helpful to help build those connections in our community.
it would be helpful if you said hello and said your name, because I don't always recognize your face. So people take offense to that, but I can't see well. So, and it's hard for me to describe what I can't see because I wear glasses. But my glasses don't correct everything, so there's some pieces that I still need help with. So just say hello, and it's probably the end of a day for me, end of a week for me, so just like everybody else, I'm tired. I'm not ignoring people, but go ahead, Karen.
I guess I mostly would want people to react to me as they would react to anyone else. Just treat me as a regular person. I do appreciate help. Please, if you feel that you want to offer it, do it. But please ask me. Don't just grab or push or something else. And please don't tell me things are over there. I don't know where over there is.
So there's a way to express genuine curiosity without being rude or disrespectful. And I know in my experience, if someone sees me walking with a slight limp, as I do, and they ask me, "What's wrong with your leg?" I would answer them by saying, "Nothing is wrong with my leg, and this is just the way I walk." But again, there's a way to express genuine curiosity without being rude, inappropriate, or disrespectful.
I welcome any questions that you might have, my disability and my challenges. I'm open to them, and anything you need to ask me, I'm open to.
I have a pet peeve, and it's when people say, let's say I need something, and people say, "Oh, it's over there." It's like, I don't know what over there is. I can't see it. I don't know where they're pointing. Is it left? Is it right? Is it straight ahead? Just like, I'd like people to be a little more specific with me. But things like that.
Oh yeah, when I'm talking to me, look at me when I'm talking so I can hear you. I'm hearing out of my right ear, so if you can look toward me and wait for me, I'll what you have to say.
So if there was one other thing or something else that you would want our community to know about you in order to, again, to continue building our connections with one another, what would that be?
Okay. A lot of times people say, "Hi, Arlene," and I rarely, if ever, say hi with their name, because I don't want to make a mistake and call them by the wrong name. I recognize people by their voice and the silhouette of their hair. I don't recognize faces. So, I'm not being rude. I just don't recognize who you are. And I don't want to be embarrass myself or the other person by saying the wrong name. The other thing is, my legs are fine. I use a chairlift because if I were to walk up those stairs, I'd be so out of breath they'd have to call an ambulance for me. And yeah, that's basically it.
I love music. My dad was a pianist. My mom was a jazz singer. I had a private tutor named Camilla who helped me with my bat mitzvah with new tapes and special phonetics. I have a liberal arts degree and went and graduated from Queensborough Community College and made the Dean's List.
So, I guess I would like others to know that I try not to take myself too seriously. And also, like I said earlier, there's a way to express genuine curiosity without being rude, inappropriate, or disrespectful. So just be mindful of your word choice. And it's okay to ask questions. I would rather someone ask questions, someone ask me a question rather than immediately passing judgment on me.
I also am open to any questions. If you can answer anything, or if you have any questions, please feel free. I don't mind talking about my disability. But if there's one thing I would like you to come away from this discussion with, one idea, it's that people with disabilities are people. We work, we play, we go to concerts, we laugh, we cry. But whatever we do, it's the same thing that you do, we just do it differently.
I'd like people to know I'm creative. And just like Karen said, I think socially, I'm just like everybody else. You can ask me questions. I think Matt's correct that it's the way you ask, not what you're asking. So that's it.
To our honorable timekeeper, how are we doing for time? Do we have any time for questions?
We do. We finished earlier than expected because one person isn't here.
Scotty's not here.
Shout out to Scott Schei-Lauer, one of the leaders of our team. I'll bring you a mic, hang on. If you can introduce yourself also.
Sure, my name is Ira Fuchs. What would be an appropriate way to inquire about your disability?
Who are you asking? All of us?
Anybody, but since you brought it up several times.
Yeah, I think it's Matt, why don't you take that one?
So I think an appropriate way to ask about one's disability would be just asking if there's anything that you can do to help them, or is there anything that we can do to best accommodate you in any given environment? I think that's certainly one of the most genuine ways that an individual can inquire about one's disability without immediately passing judgment on them.
Does anyone else want to add to that?
Can I add to that?
Go ahead, Amy.
Because I don't like to ask for help, actually. But I don't mind people just saying, I have a question, do you mind? I'm very open to that. I just don't like some assumptions that people make.
I just want to make sure we have time to get to multiple questions, so I'm going to leave it at that one. Okay.
Hi, I'm Mark Levitt. I wonder if you want to share any comments or thoughts about Judaism as it relates to your lives, or the synagogue.
Jody, go ahead.
For me, when I had my bat mitzvah, it made me feel more included in my Judaism. Someone who's I was the first woman with a disability to have a bat mitzvah at age 50, and I think I created a opening for other women to do it who have challenges. I remember Rabbi Primer telling me that when I had my bat mitzvah.
Okay, did anybody else want to weigh in on that one? Okay, go ahead, Matt.
Well, if you just think about the Torah, and if you think about Moses and when he goes to ask Pharaoh to let my people go, he sends his brother. He has his brother Aaron as an accommodation. So that's one way. So if you think about it, that's one example of accommodating someone who has a disability that's directly in the Torah.
Do we have any more questions? We have a few minutes. We can.
I'm Ina Strauss. When I was a child, I remember that there was very little accommodation for people who needed any kind of special help, not only physical, but emotional as well. And I just wonder if any of you, all of you, were able to get those kind of accommodations when we were children.
I feel it very strongly.
I just wanted to repeat it so that, because I think not everybody heard it. The question was, someone was stating that when they were younger, there were not accommodations usually afforded in school for anyone who needed any kind of extra help, and whether any of you had had any difficulty with getting that kind of accommodation or assistance when you were growing up.
I can answer that. I can answer that. I started working before the ADA, and now, like, when I came to the state, they were tripping over themselves to try to be accommodating, but without, like, assuming that I needed something. So to me, that was very open. I've seen a revolution over the time between now and when the ADA first started. And yes, I did get educational help when I was a child. I got big print books, and for a very short period of time, because I fought against it, I was in special ed. But that was because the school didn't know what to do with me. That wasn't because of me. So it's changed now, though. to a
Karen, did you
positive.
want to weigh in also? Yes. Okay, Matt's got it on your right-hand side.
Oh, over here, okay. Right, I want to say that there wasn't a whole lot of accommodations when I grew up. My parents had to look for it. I went to a school which had what was called a sight-saving class in it, which meant that my homeroom was where I learned Braille and learned to type, and where I went back to take tests and stuff like that. And I was in my regular grade always. Of course, when I was like in first and second grade, I spent most of the time in the homeroom because I was learning the basics. But there really wasn't a whole lot of stuff around. I know that my parents looked around and went to the Red Cross and got stuff for me. I did not grow up in a way that gave me all kinds of services. I remember that when I was in school, everybody went to the library and got library cards and stuff and could take out books. And because it was a regular school, I couldn't do that. And boy, did I want to.
To your right. Karen, over here.
Yep. So for myself, I'm grateful to have grown up after the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So for me, I'm grateful that I got to grow up having all these accommodations. and I was always classified as general education related services only. So there was never, any real barriers for me to receive accommodations.
In my case, I was in regular classes when I was younger, but then in fourth grade, I was just starting to test people who have learning challenges, and I'm put in special ed. And I left out a lot of things that most kids were doing at that point. When I went to junior high school, I didn't get to go to the proms or any of the things other kids were doing. We were left out. Years later, I went to college. I got more tutoring and more help, and I got to go to college. I don't think I ever go to college. They told me I couldn't, but I did. And I think now we need to do more special ed in our temple. We need more inclusion with kids who are learning challenges.
Coming to you with the mic, Mickey. Here we go.
Thank you. Mickey Josephs. You've all mentioned family, and I was wondering if you could in some way describe the role of your families in helping you deal with your disabilities.
Okay, I think Jody already has the mic, so I'll let her go first, then you're next. Oh, you both got mics. All right.
My mom didn't know what to do. She felt blamed for my disability, but it's a loss of oxygen that caused cerebral palsy. That's all it was. My father has always been a very strong influence to push me, to disagree with me, and trust me, we disagree, but I'm more independent for it. Because there's going to come a time, unfortunately, when he's not here. But including my current project, which is that I have a new cat, he's always been supportive and always given me resources or given me another way to think of things or turn it over this way, a new way to look at it. Somebody else.
Okay, go ahead, Jody, because I know that you were eager to jump in also.
Okay. My dad was my number one cheerleader in my life. My dad's the one that always called if I need help. We talk for hours about where you want going to school or wherever I need to talk to about. He would give me say, "You can do this. Go ahead, go for it, and do it." Other people will say you can't, but you will. Just take your time and learn how to do things. And my mom became a special ed teacher because of me. She, after quitting, she's somebody who quit school, went back to school, went to college, and became a singer, and went back to school, and then she got out because of me. She went back to become a special ed teacher.
Karen, did you want to respond also?
Yes.
Here we go.
Maybe because I went to a regular sighted school. Well, actually, maybe I went to the sighted school because my parents wanted me to just grow up as a regular person. They did not expect me to not do anything. They expected me to go to school, and I expected and I wanted to do that. I remember my mother said that she was talking to one of her friends once, and her friend said, she was telling me that I went to camp, and the friend said, what if she's on a hill? And my mother said, then she's on a hill. And that's what was expected of me. Of course, my father always tried to get me to get a PhD, and I told him no way. But other than that.
Okay, would anyone else like to weigh in? There you go. Go ahead, Matt.
Sure. So, my family, especially my parents and even my fraternal twin brother, taught me at an early age to advocate for myself, and it's really because of not only my parents but my brother as well that really taught me to, in a variety of environments, to always advocate for myself, and they instilled with me the importance of self-advocacy at an early age. So that has always been very important to me.
Arlene, would you like to add anything? Or?
Yeah, not only speak to, well.
Yeah, I have a very supportive family. My aunt died, I think the day before her 46th birthday, and my parents took in her kids who were 11, 12, and 13 at the time. So they're like my extended immediate family, and I have a brother who's a year younger than me. So I always had, love and encouragement from family, and we all looked out for each other. And as far as self-advocacy, I find that really, really interesting, because I was painfully shy, and my mother said I could do anything I put my mind to it, but I wasn't really taught independence or advocating for myself. That was my mother. Thought it was important that my brother, as a boy, be independent, but not so much for a girl. But that was the 1940s.
So I think we have time for maybe one last question, if anybody's got something else. Okay, Noemi, I'm going to bring you the mic 1 sec.
I'm just going to stand up because I'm so far back. I didn't think people could see me. I'm Nomi, and I wanted to ask if there are policies or things that you would like to see changed in the world to make things easier for people with disabilities.
Okay, who wants to tackle that one?
Well, I'm bringing it a little bit more to home. The committee was initially formed to to come up with suggestions to make the temple more accessible, and that was the original focus of our group, our committee. And we all have ideas about how to people with limitations can physically get onto the beamer. People with wheelchairs are at a loss. They cannot get into the building or navigate the building. Maybe other people have other things that we spoke about at the early formation of the committee.
I agree with that. I've been fighting for years to put an elevator in Temple, if we can get one. We need more special ed teachers in the Hebrew school for kids who are learning challenges. And we need to have a Temple more easy to get on the beamer, because like Annie says, it's true. It's hard for me too, actually. I think we need to be more. I think definitely come up with other ideas, and we welcome your ideas so maybe we can find ways to make it more accessible.
I would just say, just in general, to normalize the conversation about disability, and know that disability is a natural part of life. Each of us as human beings will, if we are not born with a disability, will likely acquire a disability at some point in our lives. And I would just say, in terms of policies, to just know what's out there, and educate, and you need to continually educate yourself about what services or accommodations could be made available to you.
Pardon? Does anyone else on the panel want to respond to the question?
I think accessory needs to improve, but that's
I think transportation is a big issue. I think there are definite things that accessory can do to change, to be more responsive to what people need, but that's a work in progress. And I respect them because I use them every day. So I say that with with mixed feelings because I do respect them.
So, I know today we've basically, our panelists all are more visibly have challenges. I want to remind everybody also that we have plenty of people in our congregation, in our community, in the world, who have stuff going on that you might not even know about, that's not visibly apparent to us, that you would not necessarily know. Essentially, treat everybody like a person. Have a little rachmanis, have a little understanding and acceptance, and just, you know, somebody's being grouchy with you, maybe they got something going on. Be compassionate to each of us, to each one of us. Thank you so much for coming today and doing this bridge making with us. And thank you so much to our panelists for participating and sharing of themselves and their personal experiences. We do also have, there is a committee. If you're interested in these issues, if they touch your life, the Accessibility, Inclusion, and Empowerment Committee of RTFH is here. Our chair, Scott Scheidlauer, is unfortunately unable to be here in person today, but you can contact him through the office directory or ask in the office if you have any interest in that. Thank you so much for coming. And I think we're moving on to the children's service.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to our wonderful panelists. At 2 o'clock in the classrooms, what classroom it is? In one of the classrooms. It says it on here somewhere. Classroom 5 is a wonderful study session to help bridge your day, and then back in here at 3:15 for our afternoon services and our healing service. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
I think you got the wrong person. No, we got the right person.